What's going on, everybody? So today I wanted to continue on the driving manual series pretty much and just explain how to race a manual car, because I've gotten a lot of questions on it before and I've had people ask me how do you do it, and I know I was curious when I first started because it's weird to try and drop the clutch, and a lot of people when you're learning you take the clutch slowly and there's a lot to it, and I understand that it can be confusing at first, but it really is not that hard when you start learning how to do it and you start getting more comfortable with it. Once you learn your car especially, because every car is different, you will without a problem be able to drive manual as fast as you want and be able to race. Hopefully not on the street, because I cannot technically say I indulge in it, nor can I say I condone it in any way, because I'm unable to say that. But before we get too far in this video, if you guys do enjoy it, please leave me a like, because it does help me out a lot. And if you want to see more of my content, or if you seem to be watching my videos and haven't subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any one of my future uploads. So first things first, when you want to actually race a manual, learn how to drive. Just learn how to drive manual. That's the very first step, because you have to be able to be comfortable getting into first, starting to move your car, all of that. You want to be able to know how to drive your car and where your biting points, and just know your car inside and out before you try and race on it, or else you might be doing a lot more damage than anticipated. Dropping your clutch and racing your car will do some damage to it, but as long as you don't do it every light or every stop sign, it won't be a big enough effect to hurt you in the long run. It'll do a little bit of damage the more you do it, and just keep that in mind that it does do damage to your car. So try not to race everywhere. But the first step, after you learn how to drive your car, first step is getting your car up to operating temperature, because if you just started your car, you don't want to rev it too high, or else you will cause damage. It's not properly lubricated and everything needs to be warmed up and at operating temperature before you actually beat on it, or else you're going to cause more damage than you were hoping to, and it just takes that extra 5 to 10 minutes. Just let it warm up fully and then go from there. The next thing is go to a parking lot when you want to practice. Go find somewhere, a back road that's never occupied, a private road, something like that first of all, you're not trespassing on, and that you can actually do it without having to worry about stalling your car or any other problems that might affect the traffic of the road. So just make sure you're in a spot that you're not going to be in anyone's way or possibly cause damage or injury to anyone else around you. So once you're actually in ready with your car at operating temperature, you learn your car by now, you're ready to start trying to race your car, dropping your clutch, figuring out all of that. You want to first find the perfect RPM where you don't spin your tires and you don't launch too slow. There's a very nice balance in everyone's car that you're going to have to find so you can race it without having to spin your tires or any other complications, such as not being able to launch as fast as you possibly could. You want to get the most potential out of your car, and at the same time you don't want to spin, because that just ruins your time at the end of the day. The more you spin, the less time you have actually moving and less traction. So find your perfect RPM where you can rev it there, and when you drop the clutch, you're not going to light up your tires or light up the road or do anything that can possibly harm your car. So try and practice that RPM balance, and then drop your clutch, and you'll eventually find out the perfect medium where you're not going to do any actual damage to it, nor are you going to be sitting there spinning, while still being able to get the most potential out of your car. After you've practiced this long enough, make sure when you're actually getting out of first gear, you've learned how to get your car to catch traction and start taking off. When you ride out first gear, I actually don't know the technical terms for it, but when you ride out first gear long enough, something blocks your shift into second. I don't know if it's your shift gate or what, but every car I've tried to race manual, I get my car up to 4 to 5 grand and then I'll shift it, but it always wants to lock me out. I don't know what that is. Just be careful of it, because you will be sitting there in the middle of an intersection or the middle of the road and just in neutral, and you're not able to catch a gear because you have to wait for your RPM to drop. So just be careful of that. When you ride it out long enough, it might block your shift. But on the other hand, when you actually start and you're ready to shift into second gear, you're already off, you're ready to shift, you're going to want to learn how to quick shift, especially if you're trying to get the best time you can or beat whoever's next to you or do whatever you have to do. You got to learn how to quick shift. I'll show you how I do it, but it's bad for your car. I can't imagine it does that much damage where it's going to be a real concern, especially when you don't do this too often. But what I do is when I'm ready to shift to the next gear, whether that be second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, you lightly pull back on your shift knob, and then the second you hit your clutch, you're in the next gear. It could damage your car after enough times. This is one of the reasons I don't power shift. Power shifting is when you don't let go of the gas and you just shift into the next gear, and as long as you're fast enough, your RPM won't block you out and whatnot, and it won't jump too heavily. But power shifting, I do know, will cause damage to your transmission. Having to catch at such a fast RPM can just do a lot more damage than good. So as long as you're fast enough with your hands and your feet, you'll never have a problem with not being able to power shift. I've never found it that much more beneficial to me instead of just using my method. I'll show you on my hands and feet what I'm doing exactly so you understand, but it's very easy. Just again, make sure you're not pulling too hard on the shifter or else you will cause more damage, and don't pull too light or else you're just going to pop it right into neutral. Find the balance where you can go straight from the one gear to the next as your foot hits the ground. So really quickly, as I was saying, all I really do is when my feet are on the pedals, I just click my clutch as fast as I can, and as I hit the bottom, because my hand's already on the shifter, the second it hits the bite point, it'll already slide out and back into the next gear by the time my foot's back off. It's extremely quick once you get the hang of it. It takes a little bit of practice just to find that right balance point, but it really is the fastest way to shift, I've found, and I've had people even say the same thing, that it's extremely fast. But again, just a forewarning, anytime you're racing your car, you will probably do damage to your entire transmission, both your clutch and your shifter. You're gonna probably miss a gear and it's gonna grind the gears. You're gonna slip your clutch slightly and it's gonna grind a little bit. And just be careful of everything you're doing. And I just want you to take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt, just because after a long enough time, especially if you're doing all these techniques from every single light, you are going to do damage to your car, and just be careful. So yeah, as I was saying, when you are going to quick shift, you're in first, say you're getting out of first. When you shift, pull slightly backwards, and the second you hit the clutch, it'll just slide out. So when you're going third to fourth, I'm on the gas, clutch in, and it's already gone. Because I'm already starting to slightly pull it, it'll just pop right into the next gear. So as if I was racing, it would just be get into first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Just because you're pushing on each one of those gears, it just pops right in and slides into the next one. It's the fastest shifting you'll be able to do without actually doing a considerable amount of damage to your clutch. So if you watch the other couple videos, the advanced manual techniques, things not to do, and now this one, you are going to put them all together and you're going to be quite the manual driver. As long as you're smooth enough with everything, that is the main thing, is try and be as smooth as you can with anytime you're racing, as that makes the big difference and will cause less damage to your car instead of you having to jump it everywhere. So my advanced manual techniques do go hand in hand with this video, as heel towing, if you're on a track, you're going to want to use these techniques just to get on the straightaways, and then heel toe around the corners, or do any of the other ones that I showed you in the advanced manual techniques. The video will be linked in the description below. Go check that one out if you haven't, as it does have some pretty useful tips as well for driving manual. And other than that, I really don't have anything else to say for this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. I'm happy to answer any of them. And I know it can be frustrating driving manual for the first time, as it's a lot to learn and it's extremely stressful. And I was worried about how you race it and how you do this and that, how you drive it properly without hurting anything. I do have a couple of videos that might explain all the questions you might have, but if not, please feel free to leave a comment down below and ask me any questions. I'm happy to answer all of them. But that is going to be it for today's video, so thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please leave a like, as it does help me in the channel out a lot. And if you want to see more of my content, please feel free to subscribe, as it does help me in the channel out a lot. All the links will be in the description below for my past manual driving techniques. There is a playlist if you want to check it out on my channel. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.